Hello, this is Jeff Charlton with Graphic Connections Group, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the prospect funnel as it specifically relates to real estate investor marketing. Now, when I talk about the prospect funnel, in fact, the word funnel, what does that even mean? A funnel is simply a marketing system that brings someone, you take a wide range of prospects, and through a series of steps, you narrow them down to a funnel where at the end of the funnel, hopefully you have a very narrow person that comes out that's exactly what you're looking for. So in doing that, we can do it a couple different ways. We can have a direct mail funnel where you start with direct mail and you do the whole thing offline, or you can combine direct mail along with some online concepts. So we'll talk about both. Let's talk about first the direct mail piece. When you're the first step in any kind of a prospecting funnel is you have to identify the list. The list is the single most important thing because you can mail an awesome offer to the wrong list and get a 0% response rate. If you think about that, if you're a person, let's say you're interested, let's just talk about houses. Let's say you're not interested in selling your house under any circumstances. You're happy and you're going to live in your house for the next 20 years. And someone sends you a letter that says, hey, I'm going to buy your house for cash and I'll give you a great price. Well, if you're not interested in selling your house, it doesn't matter what that offer is, you're going to ignore that and throw it in the trash. So that's a case of having the wrong list or the wrong prospect, no matter what the offer is. As opposed to if you have the right list, you don't necessarily have to have the greatest offer to get someone's attention. Because if someone's really hungry to sell their house and you send them some sort of solicitation talking about selling their house, it may not even be the greatest solicitation. But if they're in the market and they see something, their eyes might light up and they still might call you. So picking the right list is the single most important thing to being successful in direct mail marketing. The second most important thing is the offer itself. Are you going to mail them a letter? Are you going to mail them a postcard or something else? You could do some crazy stuff. There's something called lumpy mail, which we also offer, which means simply a dimensional piece that's very unusual. Typically that's not used a lot in real estate because it's kind of expensive, but in certain cases it does make sense. But whether it's postcards or letters, you have to make sure you have a clear offer that's obvious and it jumps out at someone, and hopefully get some to respond. Now, the second part of that is the response device. How does someone respond? And if you're strictly a direct mail offline type of funnel, then your response device probably is a phone call. It probably says pick up the phone and call me. Or you could even use a Dan Kennedy approach and have someone fax you some sort of a form, although that's highly unusual. These days fax machines are fewer and fewer, farther between, but it's still an option. So you actually have someone call you. Let's just assume the phone call is your one approach. They're going to call you, and they're going to call into either a live phone line that you answer, or you hire an answering service to take phone calls and have a specific list of questions they ask the person calling in so they can interview them and try to, again, drill down and weed them out to find out if they really are the right person that you're looking for. And you can either do that with an answering service or you can do that yourself. But it's very important to know exactly what you're going to say when someone calls in and gather critical information that's important to you. And what that information is up to you and your business. But it's important to do that so you can drill further down. And then, lastly, after you've gathered that, you need to have some way of following up with someone. Because frequency does mean something in all types of marketing. It's proven that the more often someone hears your message, the better chance they're going to respond. So whether it's on the front end, where you're, the initial mailing where you're hitting that person over and over and over again, or it's on the back end where they've already responded, now you're going to hit them over and over and over again to stay in front of them. Both of those are important. Now let me talk a little bit about mixing direct mail marketing with online marketing. A very common method is to send out the direct mail piece, and when you tell them to respond, you tell them to either call you or go to your website or send an email. Either way, that's 3 different options. But if you send them to a website, it's important to have that be a landing page where you're capturing their information before you give them any information. And you capture at a minimum their email address, but you'd probably like to capture their phone number too. And the way you do that is you offer them some irresistible offer on the website that makes them want to give you that information. And it could be a special report, it could be a free analysis of their house, it could be maybe you're going to offer free $1,000 in closing costs, or who knows, the sky's the limit. Put some sort of offer that's an irresistible offer that gets someone to say, yeah, I'm interested in that. I'll give you my name and my email and my phone number. And then that goes in an automatic autoresponder system that captures their information and starts sending them emails on a regular basis, reminding them of how great you are and what you can do for them. So that's really the two main ways you do a prospecting funnel, either purely offline or online and offline together. This is Jeff Charlton, and have a great day.